Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500 and welcome back to Project Loopy Harold. I believe this is day 6. Today we are going to have a look, get it up in the air, have a look, see where that water's coming from, and then we're going to see if we can sort out that speedometer. Let's go. So the engine has stalled, but you can see there, that's where the water's dripping from. It's coming along there as well, but it's dripping down from, obviously that's where it's coming from, but it's coming from above there. That's the lowest point, obviously. So that tells me that it is the water pump, because obviously the water pump is directly above that. So we'll have to get one of those and get that done. Nuisance, but hey ho. As you can see, there is obviously a lot of an explosion. You can't see the other end of that main pipe there because the oil filter's in the way, but you can see where the water's obviously leaked out somewhere. Just sort of while I'm here, I'm looking up and see the oh no, it's further back, isn't it, the knock sensor. I'm getting this dripping all over my phone, all over my hands as well now, the rusty water. So yeah, I mean, I don't know why it's all over there. It's obviously, I guess it's probably drained and it's leaked from there, and it's got the pressure's built up, and I guess it's probably burst something. It may have even burst that pipe there, but it's not leaking from there now. So. Well, that could be because it's not actually getting to the car at all. If the water pump's not working and all the water's coming out, then obviously it's not going to go around the car, which would explain why when I had the pipes disconnected from the car when I was doing the inlet manifold, that would explain why there was no water in the block. So we're going to start it the least amount of times as we have to until we get that done now. So I'll go and get one of those ordered. One of those things. Never mind. At least I know where it's coming from now. So, you may know about the fault that happens with these Speedos, where you get either an indicator, an airbag light, or sometimes the handbrake light just glows randomly. It's a fault on the speedometers themselves. There can be other faults as well. The whole thing can go doolally, the middle can go in them. There's various things that go wrong with them. You'll get lights up that shouldn't be up, but this is a classic one where what it often is you only normally notice it when it's a bit of a dank day like it is today, or at night when you've got the lights on. So this one doesn't do it with the light. Oh, actually no, as soon as you turn the lights on you can see it. You see there we've got, I think it's the seat belt and the airbag light are very dim. So let's put the keys in the ignition and then we'll see if it does it on the Speedo. You see they've come on bright now. So sometimes the left hand indicator will glow. So it's not doing it on there. Often with the right hand indicator the handbrake light will stay on, but very, very dimly. Actually, if I start the engine so those lights go out. Oh look, the engine light's doing it as well. Yeah, the engine light is flashing on and off as well, so obviously that shouldn't be doing that. If I take the handbrake off, no, that's okay, it's not doing it with the handbrake. But as you can see, the engine light is flashing in time to the music, I was going to say. There is an issue with this car. I've just fixed it with the inlet manifold, but there's no water in it, and it's running slightly rough still, and it stalls every now and again, but that's another issue anyway. But we're here today to do this. So as you can see, right hand indicator is on. The flashing you can see on the camera now, it does. That's just because it's doing it through the camera. But that engine light there obviously shouldn't be flashing at all with the indicator. That shouldn't be happening. And then if we turn it off, you can still see on the left hand side there, you can still see those lights very, very dim. In a second they'll go out. There you go, they've gone out. Doesn't matter whether the lights are on or not. Oh, the lights come on, and those lights come on as well, and now they'll go out again in a second. So that's the fault on this one. Yours may show other faults. There are numerous faults that this happens on. So I'm going to show you today, one, how to take this out, and then two, how we fix it. We don't fix it, we're going to change it. I've got a new one here. I say new, this is a second-hand one. Now when I bought this, I made sure that the mileage on this was less than on the car. So before I actually take this out, I'm going to make another note. I'm going to take a photograph of what the mileage was, because when we come to put that in and switch it on, we need to reset the mileage, and we'll come to that once we've done it. So for the time being, I'm going to switch it back on and then take a picture of that mileage, and then we'll come back. So that mileage is 68,572. When I bought this on eBay, it didn't say how many miles were on it, and I asked the seller, and he told me. So obviously I haven't tried that yet, so hopefully it is going to be below, and then we can up it. You can't do it the other way around. If you buy one that's 80,000 miles and you want to change it to 68, you can't do it. You can only go up, not down. So first of all, to get this off, we have to take off the bottom cowling. If you have a look at my other videos, you'll see how to take a Speedo out, and we actually take the steering wheel and the airbag off just to make it easier for you to see where the screws are. But I'm going to do these on time lapse. So yeah, you've got two screws at the bottom. Once you've got those, you can feel underneath, and you can get the two screws for the top cowling. Once you get those off, you can then get to the screws down here to take this bit off. There's another screw there, just there. So one either side, down there, that one at the top, that then lifts off, and then you can get to the screws for the actual Speedo itself. To do this, before you do anything like this, get your bonnet up in the air, and take your earth quick release off before you touch anything electrical. So we're going to switch the ignition off for the minute, and then we're going to get out of the car, take that off, and then we'll get back in. We'll put the camera up on the speeded up time lapse while we're taking that off, and then we'll come back once we've got the thing out, and then we can show you where we go from there. And don't forget, if you want to see the detailed video of how to get the Speedo out, then have a look at the other videos in the how-to series, and you'll see there. I'll link to it above as well, so you can click on that link. I suggest watching that first before watching the rest of this one. So yeah, the link should be above now. So we'll be back shortly. So that took probably 5 or 6 minutes, I reckon. I went to the garage and got my torch out, because when you get to those bottom screws down there, they're a bit difficult to see. So I got the torch out to find those. And you basically use two Torx screwdrivers to do this. You'd use a T20, and I think it was this one, which was a I can't see it, T10. T10 and a T20, that's all you need. Apart from to do the cowling, you need a ordinary Phillips screwdriver. Now I would expect you to take longer to do that if you've never done it before. It's finding the screws. The two worst screws to find are the ones on the top. So I can do it by feel. I sort of roughly know where they are on the clock spring, so they basically screw to the clock spring. The way I still do it, even though I know roughly where they are, is I stick a finger up, find the head of the screw, and then guide the screwdriver in with my finger, using the other hand obviously. That's an easier way of getting it on the screw. Once you've found the screw head with the Phillips screwdriver, you can obviously easy to get them undone. Same applies when you're doing them up. If you know roughly where they are, find the hole with your finger, put the screw on the end of the screwdriver, and find it. Sometimes it's tricky for me as well, and I've done it so many times now. But yeah, so that's how to get it out. As I say, if you want to see in detail how to get it out, then look at the other videos. So what we're going to do now, before we actually do it, fasten it all in, I'm going to put this one in, connect up the power, just put it into position, and then I'm going to go and turn the ignition on and see what the display comes up with, and hopefully it's going to be less mileage and there'll be no errors on this one either. Fingers crossed, we'll see. So I've reconnected the battery. We can turn that on. We can see there the mileage is 58,955 miles. And now we can try the indicators. That all works. That one works. We'll try starting the engine. This engine is a bit iffy. Ah, this one's 40 as well. So I've just noticed that this one is 40. We've actually got an airbag light which is glowing as well. So they've sold me a 40 one. So as you see there that the mileage is flashing. The reason the mileage is flashing is because it's another Speedo, and that Speedo is alien to this car. So therefore it needs a proxy alignment. A proxy alignment has to be done to get rid of the flashing mileage. For whatever reason you've got flashing mileage, that can be done by multi-ECU scan, and the mileage can be adjusted using multi-ECU scan too. So I'm going to end this video here, the reason being that this is a 40 Speedo. So I'm replacing a 40 Speedo, and they've sold me a 40 Speedo. So this one will have to be sent back. Yeah. Okay, so that's a shame. So I will leave it in the car for the time being. I won't bother putting everything back, and then we'll come back and finish this video off when I get a replacement one. 40 Speedo. So this is the one that's going back. So the car is just parked down the road. We are not taking it on the drive. I'm not even going to start it. As you can see, the mileage is flashing still, which obviously it will do because I've not done a proxy alignment. So we know what the faults are on this. So I contacted the seller on eBay and told him what the faults are, and he said, yep, send it back. I've done the eBay return, and unfortunately I've got to send it back a week before Christmas via the post office. So I'm going to have to queue up tomorrow, which is Monday, at the post office just to send this back. I would send it by Hermes, but I think because eBay sort of tracks the progress of the parcel for them to receive it for you to get a refund, then I need to do it using their postal method, even though that's a free postage method. I don't mind paying for it, but that's the way I need to do it. So unfortunately I've got to queue up. So I've got in the back seat here, I've still got in the back footwell, I've still got the original one that was in it, and that one that the centre bit doesn't work, so I'm going to put the original one back in for now. I've bought another one. I got it a few quid cheaper than this one. That hasn't come yet. It's the seller told me he'd sent it by next day on Friday, so it should come Monday hopefully, and then I can get it in. Well, although I didn't film that, it literally took me 30 seconds to do that because obviously it's not screwed in at all. So this is the original one back again. I'm not going to start it up. We know it's 40. That's the original mileage, obviously 68,572. So yeah, so here we are with the 41, which is written on the back. I don't know what 1740 is all about, but quite clearly 40. This could be repaired, but what's the point? I imagine the seller will just dump it. These are worth having, because the one that I've got down here, where are we? It's down here still on the floor somewhere. I can't even find it. I actually accidentally snapped them off when I put it on the floor, so it would have been handy to have had those as spares. But we shall send it back as it was sent to me. It feels very damp in here. I'm going to keep that closed. Seats feel very damp. It does smell a bit musty in here, and we are all steamed up. That's the trouble with these cars, you always get condensation on the inside no matter what you do. So I'm going to park this up now. I'm going to leave it parked here for a while. If the Speedo comes tomorrow, or whenever it comes, I'll put it in, make sure it's okay, get that all these bits back together again. And then we are on to the water pump is the next thing. The water pump and cam belt, they've come. They're in the boot of Project Bluey at the moment. But I am not, as you know, I'm not confident in doing the cam belt. I've watched a load of YouTube videos. I've looked up various sources of information, and it does seem relatively straightforward. But I am a bit scared of doing it wrong. If I do it wrong and I mess the engine up, I've got no one's fault. It's no one's fault but mine. So at the moment, I'm not confident in doing it. I don't mind doing other things, but I'm not confident in doing the cam belt. So Connor, as you know, isn't working at the moment. I'm going to text him today and say to him, look, the car's ready for the cam belt and water pump. I've got them. Let me know when you're ready. If he can spare a couple of hours and come and do it, then he's earning some money. If I have to pay someone else, I'll pay someone else. I'd rather give the money to Connor, to be honest. He's a really good bloke. He's really helped me out. He's got a young family. His girlfriend has just had another baby, so I'm sure he could do with the money, and I'd rather give it to him than anyone else, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, so that's where we are at the moment. So, you know, in the meantime, although I've got Project Bluey to be getting on with, I would still like to get this in a position where once that's done, it's ready, almost ready. So there's no bodywork to do on this, as you know. The seats need cleaning, needs a general clean up, needs a service, needs an MOT. Obviously I can't service and MOT it until such time as it's running properly, but I can certainly clean it up inside, I suppose. If we have a day, today's quite a sunny day actually, if we have a day in a week that it's like this, although I think the weather's going to turn, I could get these seats cleaned. But the trouble is, I mean, the seats are feeling a bit damp, where the car's just been sitting here full of condensation. So I don't really want to be doing it unless I can actually use it. So I think I might just leave it. As I say, I've got Bluey to be getting on with. So I think if I just leave this car here for the time being, until such time as Connor's available. If it drags on too long, then I'll just have to get another mobile mechanic to come do it. So we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll finish this video hopefully tomorrow when the new Speedo comes. We'll do the proxy alignment, we'll get it all working properly, and then we'll end this video here. And then the next time you'll see this car will be when the cam belt gets done. And so for now, we'll say ta-ta, and we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Okay, so we're back again a couple of days later. The new Speedo has come. It's a bit, the glass on it is a little bit on the scratched up side. I don't know how that's happened, but we'll put it in and see what it looks like. If it's too scratched up, I'll swap the glass over. Hopefully it'll be alright, but it may not notice once it's in. It's also got a broken button, or the bit of button was there. It seems to have disappeared completely now. Luckily they're easy enough to change, so I'll take the ones off of the old one and change those. I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm just going to take it out and swap them over if I can. I think they just pull off, but I'll try pulling them off of this one first. Okay, so we're all back together. Or put it all in. These are a bit of a pain. These things they do tend to break off. You've got these little plastic little joining bits between them. You see these tiny little pieces here. They just break when you try and pull them off. So it's difficult to know which way round they are. They look a bit skew-whiff at the moment, but they sort of move around in there. So I've put the cover back over it, and they fit fine. So I wanted to do that before I actually screwed it in. So yeah, I've plugged it in. All I've got to do is switch it on now and check to make sure it all works as it should. So you can see that it's done 49,000 miles, this Speedo. Obviously the mileage is flashing because it needs proxy alignment. The engine light there on the right hand side, that's the one that was flashing on and off when the right hand indicator was off. I've got to start the engine to do that, but there's no airbag light showing up, which is good. So I need to start it up to check. Right, now we're going to indicate. Yeah, no lights on. No lights on that side. That's brilliant, that works. So the only other thing I've got to do, let's switch that off, because obviously we've still got the lack of fuel in it, and of course no water. So yeah, my car has instantly done 20,000 miles less. So if I were a dishonest person, obviously if you looked up the MOT history, you could see what the mileage was before. But if you were dishonest and you wanted to, you could do a proxy alignment, and then it would make it look as if your car has done less miles than it has. Obviously that's completely dishonest, and I'm not encouraging anyone to do that by any means, but it's something I think that to be aware of when you buy a second-hand car. You know, you don't know whether it's had a new Speedo or not, and you know, because of how easy it is to do this, just by doing a proxy alignment, that will reset, and that will show 49,579 miles, which won't flash. So it's always worth looking at, now everything's online, it's always worth looking at MOT history when you buy a car, because that will show you what the mileage was at the last MOT. So yeah, it's always a good indication, I think. So if you know the registration number of the car you're thinking of buying, go to .gov, search for MOT history, and then put the registration number in, and it will show you the date it was last MOT'd, and it will show you what the mileage was when it was MOT'd. It's always good to look through MOT history anyway, because you can see if it's failed on stuff and what it's failed on, so gives you an idea of stuff that may have been replaced, like things like shock absorbers and dampers. Shock absorbers are dampers. Shock absorbers, springs, exhaust, all that sort of stuff. That gives you a good indication. And if an MOT comes up and it shows you it failed, or advisories for 4 bald tyres or something like that, if someone's letting their tyres go bald, then maybe they're not the best at maintaining their car. I think it's a really good indication. But going back to the Speedo, I think it's a very good idea to do that check before you buy a car, whether it be a crashed car or not a crashed car. Makes no odds really. So yeah, another top tip for the week. So I'm not going to film doing the proxy alignment. You've seen me do the proxy alignment before. There are other videos on the channel of how to do that. So we're just going to put all the bits and pieces back together on the car, screw them all back in, and then we'll come back after that. There you go, it's all back on again. Cowlings are all back on. Everything's screwed on. I've just got to put the bit of dash trim on, and then that's it then. So that's another job completed now. So that's the end of this video. Obviously we haven't done an awful lot of stuff in this video. It's mainly just checking out that water leak and getting this done. And I'm glad that we've got a new Speedo in now, as that other one was faulty. That's now been sent back, so I'm just waiting for my refund now once that gets there. So Project Loopy Harold is continuing. We've still got to do the water, as we spoke about earlier, but we will get to that at some point. So I was hoping to get you some footage that I could upload over the Christmas period, because obviously a lot of you will be at home, but I don't know whether that's going to be possible or not. I've got a little bit more to do to Bluey, but of course I'm still Christmas post and whatever. I'm waiting for the parts to arrive still, so hopefully I'll get some done next week. I may be putting some Copart videos up, because I was having a look through Copart today, and I wanted to go through it, and some that I did 2 or 3 weeks ago as well, just to show you some Copart stuff that's around at the moment. Maybe worthy of anyone that's interested in starting a project for a Fiat 500. Now might be a good time to buy, but we'll go over that in another video. So from me, this may be the last video you'll see this year. Hopefully there'll be a couple more, but I can't promise that. So I just wanted to, certainly this is going to be the last one before Christmas. So I just want to take this opportunity of thanking everybody that's followed the channel since it really started back in February time, I think it was, we started, and all those subscribers. I was doing a little search on the analytics on the channel yesterday, and it came up that 40% of the viewers on the channel were not subscribers. Now I thought that was pretty bad. I thought 40% of subscribers, I thought that was quite low. So I actually googled what's the average subscribers on YouTube channels, and it's actually about 20%. So 40%, I think it's over 40%, it's like 43%. So it's actually really good. That is obviously double what the average is, which is amazing. But I just wanted to say, as I say, I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank every single one of you for subscribing, everybody that's commented, everybody that's given me tips. I really do appreciate it. And 2020 generally has been a crap year for everybody. It's been a relatively good year for doing the cars. However, during the beginning of the pandemic, the prices just went sky high, so hence why I've not made much in the way of profit this year doing it. Luckily, as you know, I don't do it for a living, so if I did, it might be I might not be quite so happy about it. But again, thanks to everybody that's supported the channel over the last few months, and I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and hopefully a healthy and prosperous new year. Again, don't forget, if you aren't a subscriber, if you're just a casual viewer, please do subscribe, like and share the channel. We want to try and grow it even more next year. But again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody out there. See you soon. And stay safe.